knowledge of the facts of the case. I want to know what that expert knows, what they've been told. What is every fact that they have? How savvy, how intelligent are they about that particular type of case, about this exact case? I want to know what they know. I don't want to lead them. I want to say, let me know what you know. Now, there are ways that I could do it in an open format. Sometimes you can ask a narrative format, tell me all the facts which you used in basing your conclusion. Other times I can take out a report and ask them if this contains all the facts that they utilized. Or I might be able to ask it in a number of ways, other ways. I might be able to say, okay, tell me what facts you need to understand when rendering an opinion on toxicology, in rendering an opinion on whether a drug has a certain interaction, on rendering an opinion about whether somebody was stabbed or whether there was defensive wounds, or how that killing occurred, how that robbery must have occurred, where that exit was, whether that structure could sustain that, whether or not the strength of somebody engaging in some act was enough to create this kind of injury. I want to understand that. So what I'm going to do is want to ask them questions which are going to help me to understand how they are coming to those conclusions. What I do is I try to ask them questions which are going to elicit facts. Questions which are going to enable me to understand their width of knowledge. I might ask them to tell me what they considered in rendering their opinion. And I might have them list all the documents. I might place them out in front of them. I might ask them whether this comprises all the documents they considered. I might say, what did you learn from these documents? What did you understand the facts of this case were that gave rise to you coming to the conclusion that you did in this case? I'm not asking them what their opinion is. I'm asking them, what do they know? Because what they know might help me. They might not have enough information. A fact, a critical fact might have been left out. Maybe something would change their conclusion. Well, if you had known that there were 2 guns there instead of 1, would it have changed your opinion? Would it have told you that you needed to at least test that other gun once you determined that the gun that you were provided was not the gun that fired the bullet which killed Mary Smith, Tom Jones, Fred Flintstone? As you understand, what we're doing is we're understanding what is that entire amount of facts. How smart, how savvy, how much time they spend. I might say, how much time did you spend in creating your report? I might say, here's your bill we reviewed. Does it reflect all the time that you spent in this case? Is there any other time which was spent in this case which is not reflected on these bills which I have listed or identified or marked as Composite Exhibit 23? See what I've done? What I'm trying to do is understand what's that finite universe. What are all the facts they relied on? You'd be surprised that some people do one visual inspection or don't get all the facts, and it's not their fault. They're not being malicious. They're rendering an opinion based on what they have. I need to find out what they know and what they don't know. If they don't know something, I have to decide first whether I want to inject that into this deposition, and second, whether or not I want to inject it now, or when I want to object it, might be said another way. Now, I want to ask them where they derived those facts. Okay, I derived those facts from documents, from police reports, from witness testimony, from talking to my friends, from talking to Mary Smith, from talking to Judge Muckenfuss, whoever, wherever, whatever. I want to know that. Where else did you learn information? That suggests to somebody that there is more. If they say nowhere else, okay. If they keep telling you, where else did you learn information? Where else besides here, here, and here did you learn? Where else besides, Jerry, Mary, and Terry did you learn the information? The concept is, what I'm doing is using that exhaustion technique to make sure I have where all the places they got that information, whether it's people, documents, their own experience, their own visual, their own auditory sense, what it is, their own skills. And then I want to go through all of those so I make sure I understand what they know and maybe what they don't know. I can decide whether or not I want to add facts and illuminate to them that they might not know something before they render their opinion, or I might let them render their opinion and then ask them whether this fact would change their opinion, would make them even think about it, would make them perform another test, would make them withdraw, alter, edit, amend, supplement their opinion. But you get what I'm saying. I'm trying to simply get information in a productive way, and I just want to make sure I understand what they know and what they don't know. So, by way of review, you go through systematically a questioning technique that will enable you to understand what are all the facts which the person knows. I've already gone through their background and the witnesses' qualifications and things they relied upon. Or maybe I haven't. You may strategically decide you want to ask this first. It is not as important what order you place it in. The order which we're suggesting through these sessions is one that is probably the easiest in terms of systematically, chronologically following a pattern. But strategically, for a number of different reasons, you might want to change your order. And in some cases, I intentionally change my order. I don't want the witness to know where I'm going. I ask certain things first because I want to lock them into certain things. I don't want to go over their qualifications now, or I don't want to do it at all because I don't care about their qualifications. Whatever the case may be, the concept is that during this particular part, I want to learn all of the facts. And I want to make sure I understand where they got that from because I may be challenging those sources too. And if a person has gotten that information, I want to go through where they got each piece of information. Well, I learned the facts from Bob. Now I go back into the questions of how many conversations they have and what they said to each other and back and forth and so forth. They might say, here's what I know. And I know this from this one document. One conversation I had. From no one. From my own experiment. They just told me where to go. I went to the location because that's what I do. And I do my thing. I go, I'm a crime scene investigator, and I go, and they call me and say there's a site, and they don't tell me anything, and I go there and I see how the person died, and I do my own thing. Or I direct other people. Okay, who do you direct? Why do you direct them? What do you direct them to do? What did they do in this case? Did they respond back? Did they give you data? What data did they give you? You see what I'm doing. The concept is that I want to make sure I know that information, that I can gain a total understanding of the facts. So now I know what the basis of what they're going to render as a conclusion is.